Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about the sixth chapter. Chapter name is the properties of sea water. Subject is geography, and our topic name is the properties. Properties of sea water. Properties of sea water. Then which is the largest water storage of the world? Which is the largest water store of the world? Why is the sea water is salty?
Because they have minerals.
In the earlier classes, we have studied the tide ocean current with the reference of the ocean. In this lesson, we will study the major properties of sea water. Then here, can you tell, here questions, what is the difference in the temperature of land and sea?
In land the temperature is high
And the temperature of sea?
less.
What would be the difference in the temperature of sea water from the equatorial region, the polar areas? Then, geographical explanation. Temperature is the major property of sea water. The surface temperature of the sea water is not uniform everywhere. This is dependent on different factors. Latitudinally speaking, the surface temperature of the sea water decreases from equatorial area toward the pole. The average temperature in the equatorial areas is around the 25 degrees Celsius. It is 16 degrees Celsius in mid-latitude, while it is about 2 degrees Celsius near the pole. That means the temperature is the major property of sea water. That means temperature. Why this property are the major properties of sea water? We will given the explanation about this. The surface temperature of the sea water is not uniform everywhere. That means the surface temperature same everywhere?
No.
Not. That means the different places they are different. This is dependent on different factors, or this is the temperature are dependent on the different factors. Latitudinally speaking, the surface temperature of sea water decreases from equatorial area toward the pole. That means when we go to the equatorial areas toward the pole, at that time the temperature of sea water is decreases. Decreases means reduced. That means the surface temperature of sea water decreases from the equator to pole. You know na, equator passing for the center. And at that time we go to the equator area toward the pole. That means south pole and north pole. That means you know the structure of equator, then poles. Equator goes into the middle of the earth, and then this is the south and north. Sorry. This is the north, no? And this is the south. Then we go to south pole. We go to south pole and we go to north pole. At that time, temperature is decreases. That means toward the pole, the average temperature in equatorial area is around 25 degrees. That means in the equatorial region, the average temperature of this is 25 degrees Celsius. It is 60 degrees to mid-latitude. How many degrees? 60 degrees Celsius to mid-latitude at equatorial area. Then, while it is about 2 degrees Celsius near the pole, that means any south or north pole, it is 2 degrees Celsius. You understand? That means when the equatorial area, that means here the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, then mid latitude this temperature is 16 also decreases. That means this 16 degrees Celsius, and so we go towards the end of the pole. At that time, the temperature is 2 degrees Celsius. That means here temperature is increase or decrease? Decreases. म्हणजे reduce होणार किंवा कमी झालेला आपल्याला दिसतो. Then besides these cyclones, rainfalls, sea waves, ocean currents, salinity, pollution, convectional current, season, etc. all the affect the surface temperature of ocean currents. Also have similar effect on the temperature of seawater. In region where cold ocean current flow, the surface temperature of ocean current is less, while the region where warm current move, the temperature increases. That means these are the cyclones, rainfalls. You studied about this last year. Cyclone, what is the cyclone? What is the rainfall? You know rainfall, sea waves, ocean currents, salinity, pollution, convectional currents, then seasons. These factors which is affecting on the temperature of ocean currents. Similar effect on temperature of sea water in region cold ocean current flow. That means two type of ocean current flow. In the in 8th standard we studied about this. Which type of ocean current? How many type of ocean current? Two types. Which? Cold and warm. That means when the regions cold ocean current flow, at that time the surface temperature of ocean current is less. That means here goes it. That means cold ocean current flow. At that time the temperature of ocean current is less, and at that time the warm current flow, at that time temperature is increases or more. Difference between this, that means at that time the temperature, the warmer current flow, at that time the temperature is increases or more, and the cold current flow, at that time there is temperature is less at that place. Here given the change in the temperature of seawater reference to depth of different latitude in shown in figure. That means here given high latitude, mid latitude, stable water temperature decreases, and torrid zone. Observe this graph and answer the following question. What is the maximum temperature of seawater in the equatorial area? How much is this temperature at depth is 500 meters. What is the maximum temperature of seawater? Seawater, you tell me. Then, how much is this temperature at the depth of 500? Then, next question, this question you observe this figure and you write this question in your notebook. Then, next explanation, with most of sunrays radiate back from the surface of the sea, some of them penetrates to certain depth in the water. As a result, the intensity of sunrise decreases with the increasing depth. Temperature decreases up to 2000 meters. Depth. Temperature decreases up to 2000 meter depth. After 2000 meters, the temperature of seawater is uniform everywhere. It is around 4 degrees Celsius. Then, everywhere from the equatorial region to the according to depth, and therefore the water at greater depth does not freeze. The temperature of sea water change rapidly with the depth of the equatorial area. The difference in temperature is lesser in a polar area. This is also difference in open seas and landlocked seas. As the salinity of landlocked seas more, the temperature of this landlocked sea is higher than the open sea. This is true for low latitude areas. That means here given the next geographical explanation. While most of the sun rays radiate back from the surface to sea, that means the most of the sun rays radiate back from the surface to sea. Some of them penetrate to certain depth of the water. म्हणजे काही काय होतात डिरेक्टली काय होतात डेप्थला जातात आणि ते आपण डेप्थ सरासरी किती आपल्या एका टॉपिकमध्ये झाले किती 500 meters. Then intensity of sunrise decreases with increased depth. That means here the intensity of sunrise decreases at that time increasing depth. म्हणजे डेप्थ जशी जशी वाढत जाईल तशी तशी इंटेन्सिटी काय होते कमी होते. कशाची सनराइज म्हणजे सनराइज खाली पोहोचण्याची कॅपॅसिटी काय होते कमी होते. खाली आपण डेप्थ जसं जसं जाईल तसं टेम्परेचर तिथे सनराइज होणार आहे का नाही होणार. म्हणजे तिथे दिलेलं टेम्परेचर डिक्रीज सॉरी इंटेन्सिटी ऑफ सनराइज डिक्रीजेस विथ इनक्रीज डेप्थ. टेम्परेचर डिक्रीजेस अप टू 2000 मीटर डेप्थ. म्हणजे टेम्परेचर कुठपर्यंत डिक्रीज होत जातं 2000 मीटर डेप्थ. म्हणजे खोल. आफ्टर द 2000 मीटर द टेम्परेचर ऑफ सी वॉटर इज युनिफॉर्म. एवढी म्हणजे ते सगळ्या सी वॉटर युनिफॉर्म काय असतं एव्हरीवेअर. It is around 4 degrees Celsius everywhere from the equatorial region to polar area. That means in the 4 degree how many temperature of the 2000 meter depth in sea water, they are uniformly everywhere, but these are the 4 degrees Celsius everywhere from the इक्वेटर. तो म्हणजे 2000 मीटरला डेप्थला काय असतं त्या खाली काय असतं टेम्परेचर सगळीकडे सेम असतं. म्हणजे ते किती असतं 4 डिग्री सेल्सिअस. टेम्परेचर रिड्यूस्ड ओनली अप टू 4 डिग्रीज अकॉर्डिंग टू डेप्थ. आणि ते टेम्परेचर रिड्यूस कुठे होतं ओनली 4 डिग्री सेल्सिअस अकॉर्डिंग टू द depth, and therefore the water is greater depth does not freeze. म्हणजे जर आपण जसं खोल जाऊ तसं वॉटर फ्रीज झालेला दिसते का आपल्याला गोठणे म्हणतो की फ्रीजिंग. Then the temperature of sea water change rapidly with the depth at the equatorial areas. The temperature of the sea water change rapidly with the depth. म्हणजे ते डेप्थ बरोबर काय होत जातं change at the equatorial areas. The difference in temperature is lesser in the polar area. That means the difference in temperature here is lesser in the polar area. There is also difference in the open sea and landlocked sea. And it is different also the landlocked areas, landlocked sea and open sea. And the salinity of landlocked sea is more. The salinity of landlocked sea is more. The temperature of this landlocked sea is higher than open seas. Why the salinity of the landlocked sea is more? Because at that place, in this place, the temperature of this landlocked sea is higher. The simple rule. Higher in this which places higher temperature at that places the evaporation is also high, and evaporation also high, and the remaining salty water is converted into water vapor, and remaining salties or mineral salt remaining. म्हणजे काय होतं तर ज्या म्हणजे सीच्या ठिकाणी काय असतं टेम्परेचर जास्त असतं. टेम्परेचर जास्त असल्यामुळे वॉटर वेपर काय होणार जास्त असणार. मोर evaporation of water vapor, and at that less, the remaining salt काय असणार आहे ऑटोमॅटिकली जास्त असणार आहे आणि त्यामुळे तिथलं जे वॉटर आहे ते काय असतं salty असतं आणि जे आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल here given the difference in the open sea and landlocked sea and the salinity of landlocked sea is more. Why the salinity of the landlocked sea is more? Because the temperature of this landlocked sea is higher. That means simple rule. At that time, the higher temperature, there were salinity is also high, and the lower temperature at that time the salinity is also low. That means the salinity is related to the temperature. That means at the place their temperature is high, at the places the salinity of this water is high, and at that time the temperature is low, these places salinity is also low. That means here given the reason. Because of this, the salinity of landlocked sea is more. You understand why the landlocked sea salinity of landlocked sea is more? Because there were high temperature, and because of high temperature,
The landlocked sea.
landlocked sea is
The landlocked sea is high. When the temperature is high, the landlocked sea is also high.
yes. लक्षात आलं का त्या सीची landlocked सीची काय असते सॅलिनिटी मोर असते. लक्षात आलं सॅलिनिटी आणि टेम्परेचर मधलं जे काही रिलेशन आहे ते लक्षात आलं. ज्या वेळेला आपण टेम्परेचर ज्या प्लेसचं हाय असतं त्याची सॅलिनिटी देखील काय असते हाय असते. आता तुम्ही लास्ट इयरला बघितले की ज्या वेळेला टेम्परेचर एखाद्या लँड किंवा एखाद्या प्लेसचं जास्त असेल त्यावेळेला इव्हॅपोरेशन सुद्धा काय होणार आहे इव्हॅपोरेशन प्रोसेस ऑल्सो हाय. टेम्परेचर हाय, heat high, evaporation high, and salinity also high. And at that time the temperature low, heat less, evaporation less, then salinity also less. Understand?
Yes.
Thank you.